Hello, everybody, and good afternoon, or good morning, actually. We're early this weekend. Welcome to our live studio show here on MXGP TV with me, Lisa Leyland. We've got our first guest in here, Brent Van Donnick, but we've also got Marco Ricciardi, the team manager from TM Factory Racing, coming up a little bit later on, and Jeffrey Hurlings from Red Bull KTM. But before we go anywhere, Lisa, we're back in Europe.
I know.
Feel like we're home.
I know, it does feel like that, and it's a familiar paddock, busy paddock, loads of fans, great atmosphere. We've got a chicken here with some nice chocolate eggs. It's great.
I know, we'll offer them out later. But here we are, back beneath the Dolomites.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to it. We've got a full schedule today, haven't we?
I am.
EMX 250, round one, second round of the women, of course, MX2 and MXGP as well.
I am. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's, you know, it's kind of where it feels like we've been warming up, and now it's just going to be full gas, isn't it?
I hope so. I think it will be, yeah. But let's move on with the show. Our first guest, as you can see, is already in place. Brent Van Donnick, Camille Yamaha. Welcome to our studio show here. And yeah, you glad to be back in Europe after the first 4 flyaway races?
Yeah, for sure. I was kind of sick a little bit of the long flights and the traveling. You know, it's so exhausting. And yeah, it's nice to be back with the camper here. You know, on the track together with my parents. So it's a little bit more relaxed and. Yeah, it's a nice atmosphere like this.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the things, isn't it, with the flyaway races? You don't have those creature comforts like your camper, like the food in the cupboard, everything in the right place. It's a little bit difficult like that, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't have your own privacy, you know. You're always together with the team, and I like to be a little bit on my own also, you know, focus on my own and have my own food, and yeah, I feel more comfortable like this.
Well, in terms of the championship, you're 6th in the championship standings at the moment in MX2. Are you happy with the way things are going at the moment?
Yeah, at the moment everything is going like I want actually. This was the goal to be consistent and to get some confidence again, because last year I lost a lot of confidence with my injuries. Had some pretty big injuries also. So yeah, everything is coming back like I want. You know, my rhythm is coming back, and I feel better every race.
In Qatar, it didn't start so well for you, 12th overall, but since then you've seemed to turn things around, starting with an 8th place in Indonesia.
Yeah, Qatar, I was still a little pretty nervous, you know, like a lot of riders maybe, but yeah, like I said, I had to get back in the rhythm of the first of the top 5, top 10, you know, and but I have the feeling it's coming back, and yeah, we're working hard together with Jackie Vimon to get it back, and yeah, this is Mexico? No,
Indonesia.
Indonesia, yeah, I see.
How difficult was it in Indonesia? Would you say it's one of the toughest races, and especially that second moto as well? That was pretty hard, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was hard.
I mean, this was the first race, I think, yeah, you know, where it was relatively dry, but it was still difficult conditions, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually, the half of the track was pretty dry.
Yeah,
was okay. It was a little bit same dirt like Mexico, but then there was one part of the track was so bad. All the riders got stuck there. So,
well, you seem to have found some consistency over the last 3 rounds, 8th overall, 7th and 6th, the last 3 rounds. So I guess from that side, you must be feeling pretty good as well. You must be happy with the way, you know, those last 3 rounds have gone.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, that was the goal, to be consistent, and I want to do one more race like this, and then like from Valkenswaard, I think it's time to get more close to the top 5 and be in that top 5.
Well, just looking at this battle here in the second race in Leon, great battle with the championship leader, Jeremy Seewer. That also must do the confidence good, knowing that, you know, this guy is leading the championship and you're able to, you know, run it with him, which I guess you've not been able to do that in the past, really.
No. You know, I had a really good feeling that weekend on the track and with the bike, but I had a lot of stomach issues. I had yeah, stomach cramps, and it was holding me back a little bit. After 15 minutes, the cramp started, and it took so much energy of me, and yeah, that's why I couldn't go till the end also. But yeah, I was really happy with that race, especially the second race, and I took a good start. My starts improved also. So yeah, everything is looking quite good at the moment.
You mentioned you want to try and get close to the top 5, perhaps in Valkenswaard, but how close do you think you are to actually getting on that podium?
I think, like you saw also in the second race in Mexico, the first place is not that far. You know, you're battling with 5 guys actually for almost the first position. I think we are with 6 riders, and they are able to win a race.
Well, we just mentioned podiums. Obviously, you have been on the podium before, AS in 2015. That was in the sand. Next week, we go to Valkenswaard. How much are you looking forward to the first sand race of the season?
Yeah.
Because you were 4th there last year, weren't you?
Yeah, 4th, yeah. Yeah, last year I had some bike problems on Saturday, so I had last gate pick. So I had to come back from the back every time. But yeah, I had a good race. Well, were also rainy conditions. The track was really difficult, wet, and but yeah, most of the I should not expect too much also, because most of the time it doesn't turn out, and you know, I made some mistakes. But yeah, for sure I will go for the podium, and I love that race. You know, it's a little bit kind of a home GP for me.
What is it about places like Valkenswaard? Is it the fact that you've grown up riding in the sand? Is it the fans, the support that you get as well? Because obviously Holland and Belgium are very, very close.
Yeah, actually, I live only 15 minutes from Valkenswaard. And yeah, also when I was younger, when I was riding in the 85cc, 65cc, I was always riding in Holland in the Dutch Championship. So yeah, I have some Dutch fans also, and it's nice to come back every time in Holland.
Yeah, well, obviously in the past, Jeffrey Hurlings has been the dominant figure around Valkenswaard, around Lierop, around Assen. It'd be nice to put your name on that winners list, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Is it possible, do you think? Do you feel that you're probably one of the best sand riders going into next weekend? Because Jonas is pretty handy in the sand. We saw Jeremy Seawell last year in Lommel. He won a qualifying race, got on the podium, which hadn't happened before. So do you think those two guys are still the main guys, or people like Brian Bogus? Is he going to be a threat? What about Calvin Belanderen?
Yeah, you have many fast riders in the sand in the GP. I mean, like, I think in the past there was more a difference between the hardpack riders and the sand riders, but now almost everybody is living in Lommel in Belgium, so everybody can ride the sand. For me, it's maybe a little bit more naturally, you know, it feels more naturally to ride in the sand, but yeah, we have for sure. Seem like I'm hardpack 5-6 riders, and they can win.
Well, you've not had a chance to go out on the track yet. A slightly later schedule than what we've had in the past, and also this year. But how's it looking at the moment? They left it pretty dry yesterday, put some water down overnight. Seems to look like it's riding okay from the European 250 and the women that have been out. Is that something you would agree with?
Yeah, it looks very good actually. It looks a little bit softer than usually. They put some more dirt on top, I think. They changed a few jumps, the step ups. Yeah. Yeah, we will feel it directly in the free practice.
Yeah, they put some sand down as well.
Yeah,
make you feel at home.
Yeah.
Well, we're obviously just waiting for Jeffrey Hurlings, our next guest, to come on in. I'm hoping that he's outside. But before we go, what are your I guess thoughts for the rest of the season? Sand next week in Valkenswaard, but what is your aim? What are your predictions for you? What would you like to achieve?
It would be nice to finish in the top 5 in the championship. For sure it's possible. Just need to keep it consistent and stay healthy, of course. This is also a big goal for me, to stay healthy all year. And yeah, like I said, maybe make a few podiums and maybe be close to the win one time, and yeah, would be nice.
Do you think that if you do get a race win, that will be like a bit of pressure off as well? Because some people they believe they can win, and then they try too hard to win, but then they get that first one, and all of a sudden it's like, well, that wasn't so difficult.
Yeah, it would be a big confidence boost. Same like Thomas, like Covington. Oh, he's so good in Mexico. He won already 3 years in a row. 2 years.
Yeah, twice now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, for sure that will give him a big confidence boost. He will feel good this weekend.
All right. Well, look, obviously we wish you all the best this year, and good luck with the Khmer team as well. Okay. And we'll see more of Brent van Donnik this weekend, of course, around here in Pietra Marata. But hopefully our next guest is just waiting in the wings. But thanks, Brent. And before we do meet Jeffrey Hurlings, let's see what happened a couple of weeks ago. Here's some highlights from MX2 Race 2 from the MXGP of Lyon. MX2 Race 2, and this time it was Thomas Covington with a foxhole shot. Jonas found his way through, though, almost immediately, with Lieber in third. Covington, though, did lead before the end of the lap, but not for long. A slight mistake allowed the Latvian on the Red Bull KTM back through into the lead. Brian Bogus found himself coming under attack from Siwa after he made a poor start. But up front, once again, there was frantic action. Thomas Kjær Olsen started in 10th and would eventually come home in 7th. As Adam Sterry on the Monstrenji Kawasaki found himself in at the sharp end in 5th. Jeremy Seewer trying to make amends after a poor start. Picked off riders one by one. He made that pass on Brent van Donnik to get himself into 4th. And then he went after Julian Lieber. The battle for 3rd as the 41, Pauls Jonas, continued to lead, with Thomas Covington on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna giving chase in 2nd. Eventually, the American found his way through, and this time he made it stick on lap 7 and started to pull clear of the 41 of Jonas. Slowly but surely though, Jeremy Seewer started to make his mark. He found his way past Julian Lieber to get himself into 3rd. That was on lap 10. Meanwhile, after a poor start, Benoit Pacharel was on the charge as well. He found his way into 10th with that pass on Michele Chervelin. He eventually came home in 8th. Covington was mercurial though in race 2, picking up his 3rd career race win and his 2nd overall Grand Prix victory. His last one, incidentally, came here back in 2015. Seewer 2nd overall, Lieber 3rd overall, and Covington's win here is the 1st for Husqvarna in Mexico. Jeremy Seewer though keeps his hands on the red plate as we head to Italy, round 5. Welcome back to our studio show here, live from Trentino, Pietra Marata. And, well, I was hoping that our next guest, Jeffrey Hurlings from Rebel KTM, would be here, but it seems we have a Hurlings imposter in here. Excuse me, sir, but can you tell us where the real Jeffrey Hurlings is? What have you done with him?
I mean, we had some issues the first 4 races. I think the first 2 was really because of the injury. I couldn't ride till Qatar, and I was in a lot of pain. And the same was for Thailand. So we've been off the bike for a long time there. And but for the last 2 races, I don't know. Just put a big question mark on that one.
Yeah, well, it's obviously been quite a rough start for you, rougher than you probably imagined. I guess not helped by the injuries and the pre-season problems. Just talk us a little bit through it, because it's not just the hand injury here, is it? There was another one.
Well, it wasn't really an injury. It was like inflammation. We actually been riding too much maybe, and then one muscle or tendon got like a little bit of an overload and started to get infected. So then we had to rest a couple of weeks, and then we did 2 days of riding, and then I crashed again in Italy, and then that was something I did myself. So I broke my hand with that, and then by the time I went to Qatar, I barely rode for 5 weeks and was in a lot of pain. Then didn't ride another week till Thailand, and then that was like a big chaos anyway with the weather, and it was a mud race. But then we took kind of almost a week off, and then we started riding a little bit more, and then went to Argentina. We expected more from that, but we did one Moto 7 and one 12 or something. I don't know exactly. So not really the results we were hoping for, but Mexico was I don't know, that GP, I don't know, I just messed up so bad, like rode so bad and tight, and even though I rode pretty much the 2 weeks before that, so it's that's not really been an issue. I didn't have pain, so yeah, I don't know where how it was possible I rode that bad, but hopefully we can regroup and get better and better. I mean, it's a new class, new opponents, and it's for the moment it's been a really tough start, but hopefully we'll get back where we belong.
Well, let's take you back to the Motocross of Nations in Majora in Italy, end of the season. You were on fire that day. Yeah. Do you think because of that, maybe you thought actually coming into MXGP is going to be a little bit easier, and maybe you took your foot off the gas a little bit, maybe you didn't prepare as well? I mean, these are things that people are saying in the paddock and and fan sites, I guess.
Yeah, I think I think I looked at it a little bit too easy. When I when I went to the Nations, we came very unexpected and untrained to that event on a 450. We spent like a couple of days on the bike. That's it, and then we went there, and we actually kind of dominated. We won a Saturday heat race, first moto was going for the win, then I crashed, got second behind Anderson, and then the last moto whole shot and checked out pretty much. So with those results and going to the SMX Cup and been the best rider from the World Championship, finishing second behind Dungey, we had high hopes and maybe looked at it too easy, and we didn't test so much because on the 250 I never really liked to test. I was like, oh, give me the bike, just go racing. And now with the 450, I've been seeing that you need to test a lot, and it's a different thing. So I've been underestimating the class, been underestimating the guys I'm racing, and that's why I pay the price for right now. But I know we can turn things around. Obviously, looking for the championship, that's kind of over. But I mean, good things take time, and hopefully we get a bit better this weekend, and then go to Valkenswaard home GP. Been winning there for a lot of years in a row, so hopefully, get better there again, and then keep growing and growing. I mean, for this year we got nothing to lose anymore, so we just take it race by race and see how things go.
You mentioned in Qatar you were injured, and the rest of the rounds were a bit of a question mark for you. You're still trying to figure out where the problems are, but perhaps it's just the pressure of it, the build-up coming into this season, Jeffrey being in the bigger class, in the Premier class. Do you think that's perhaps part of it?
I feel like I don't really have the pressure like I used to have, because I used to have the pressure like if I don't win, I fail. So now I'm like, even if I finish 3 or 5th, I'm still doing good. But like finishing 14, for example, in the first moto in Mexico, that's really not good at all. No. So that's not really an excuse, but I feel like I can do much better than what I've showed, and everybody know I'm capable of doing much better results than what I've showed currently. So, but it just take time.
In Lyon, you had no fight. It seemed that you were passed quite early. How difficult was that for you? Was it almost you didn't have the power to actually fight back? And was it the bike setup? Was it more of a psychological thing? What was the problem there in Mexico?
I think it was more like a mental thing. Like, I've been battling guys where I used to be laughing about and used to be... some guys I don't even really knew, for example, and now I'm battling those guys where I'm supposed to not be in that position, and then you just mentally break, and then it's not the bike, then it's not my fitness, then it's not myself. That's just because of because you're mentally so far down during the race, you just start riding like 2, 3, 4 seconds slower than what you're capable of. So that was it's tough, but I know we can get there. It's not that I lost all the talent I've had. There's a reason why I won 61 GPs. There's a reason why I won 3 championships, and potentially could have been 5. But things like that cannot be gone. So I think it just takes time, and some people have some problems with going to the 450, and it takes some time. Also in America, some guys like it took some time, and then once they're in the zone and the roll, they start winning and be like on the lights bike. So hopefully I'm one of those guys, and this came very unexpected and mentally hard to handle, but I think we'll get through it.
But you still have that positive mentality by the sounds of it.
I mean, we know where I'm capable of, and that's what I showed, and showed at the Nations, for example, and also at the SMX Cup. So I know I'm capable of running with those guys. It just didn't fall all together yet. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got some questions on social media for you, Jeffrey, from Boyer167. He says, could you battle for the win in the 450 class if you were riding the 250?
At least I would be closer on the 250 now than I'm on the 450 probably. But no, I mean, like, I think running a 250 or 450 depends on which track. But like, for example, here in Arco, if you would literally get a whole shot on a 250, I think you can have an advantage racing on a 250 because it's so much more light and nice to handle, and you can just open the throttle, while on a 450 everything needs to be so controlled. So the only disadvantage is the start, with a 250. You can almost never could be up front. So, but for the rest, on some tracks, especially this weekend, I would be faster on a 250.
And also, Talis the King says, have you ever considered competing in the MXGP class on a 350?
Well, we never really considered it until the last couple of weeks, actually. We never give it a fair chance. I always said, I need a 450, I need power. But now I've been really considering, like, hey, how would that 350 be starting on the net? How would it be racing? It's more to get towards the 250. It's maybe it's something if the results will continue like this, maybe it's something we would consider to give it a try. I mean, KTM, we have the luxury, we have a 350, we have a 450, we can, there's the only brand which has a 350, available on the market. So so it's something maybe very interesting. But firstly, let's work on the 450 and check how we can get get this better, you know, can get myself better, and then if it really won't work out, maybe it's something to consider. Yeah.
Well, we are almost out here, but next week we go to Valkenswaard. You've never lost there. You've never lost in Holland.
Yeah.
How are you feeling going into next week? Are you feeling more pressure now, given the way that the season's gone?
Yeah, I mean, like
I'm on about, you know, to win.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's going to be a hard job. I think the hardest job in the last 8 years. You know, I think I won Valkenswaard 7 years in a row, if I'm correct. So, you know, if I can pull off this year, then you know, this will be a very tough step. You know, the competition is very hard, very tough, and it's going to be very difficult. But we'll see. You know, I've shown in the past I did things which were very almost impossible, but if you look at my results from the last races, it looks impossible, but who knows? Maybe we can pull it off, maybe not. We'll wait and see.
Would you say there's perhaps more pressure to win there now on your shoulders because you're in the MXGP class and because of how the season has started for you?
Well, I wouldn't say so, because, you know, I used to always come there as the highest favorite possible. You know, been winning all the races and was so dominant in the MX2 class. I mean, once we get there, you know, it would be the biggest failure probably if I wouldn't win. So now if I go there, and even if I would put it on the podium, it was like, hey, you still got it, you know, because I haven't even did a top 5 this season. So even if I would get a podium, that would be like a win. But, you know, a win is a win, and that's not a podium.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, before Jeffrey goes, just a quick news update for you here. How about if you've been playing video games in the past, MXGP, the official video game 1 and 2? Well, guess what? MXGP 3 is now out. And the official video motocross game, the new creation from Milestone, is about to drop. This weekend, fans can play it at the Monster Energy rig, and journalists and riders can play it in the media centre. It's available to buy here in Europe on May 30th and in the USA on June 20th. And so if you like the first two, I'm sure you'll like this one as well. And for more information, go to mxgp.com. Right, we are out of time here, and Jeffrey Hurlings, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, thanks for joining us. I know it's been a difficult season so far, but all the best this weekend and for the rest of the season. Hopefully you'll turn things around. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, before we meet our final guest, Marco Ricciardi, let's see some of the highlights from MXGP of Lyon 2 weeks ago. Here's highlights from race 2.
Max Nagel thought it was his foxhole shot, but by the time he got to turn 1, he ran wide and allowed the number 21, Gauthier Paulin, up the inside to grab his first foxhole shot of the year. Behind them was Tim Geiser, who found an early route through to the lead with that pass on Paulin. Behind them, De Salle, Kai Rowley, Van Horbik, and Nagel, as De Salle sped past Kai Rowley into third in what was a frantic opening lap. Paulin got muscled out first of all by Kai Rowley, and then was swiftly followed through by the hard-charging Belgian Clément De Salle, who looked a little bit more aggressive than he was in race 1. But a mistake from De Salle allowed Paulin back through just a few corners later. The Frenchman dishing out the medicine he received just 2 corners earlier. In the background was the 89 Monster Energy Yamaha of Jeremy Van Horbik. The Belgian closing in on the Monster Energy Kawasaki rider, and by lap 6 he was through. Geiser, once again, the cleanest rider on the track. Kai Rowley didn't have an answer for him, but he wasn't the only one. The circuit at 1,800 meters altitude proving a real test for the riders and the bikes alike. Jeffrey Hurlings, we didn't see too much of him. Romain Fevre found his way through to get himself into 8th. Hurlings would eventually finish 9th for what was his only second top 10 result of the year. Tonus and Nagel were at it again as the Swiss rider charged his way through the field on the Wilvo Yamaha, eventually picking off Clément De Salle. And then right on the final lap in the final turn, Jeremy Van Horbik to go 4th. But it was Tim Geiser who made it a perfect double here in Lyon, just like he did in Patagonia, round 3. Kai Rowley was the first to congratulate him. And the podium this weekend, Geiser, Kai Rowley, Paulin, just as it was for moto number 2. And with it, Geiser extends his lead over Kai Rowley now to 20 points. De Salle is still 3rd. But what a day for Tim Geiser. Back-to-back Grand Prix victories here now in Lyon in the Premier class. Next stop, though, is Kai Rowley's backyard in Trentino. Round 5.
Welcome back to our live studio show here at the MXGP of Trentino. Our final guest, Marco Ricciardi, joins us now from TM Factory Racing Team. Of course, he's the team manager. Welcome back to Europe and also here to Italy. This is where the European side of MXGP starts to kick off now. Are you excited?
Yeah, for sure. I'm so excited because it's the Italian GP. We are Italian factory, Italian team, Italian rider. Everything is by Italian and made, and I'm so exciting.
Yeah, and this weekend, very busy. Like you say, sponsors, fans, hospitality, all those things. But I guess that's the kind of thing you love about this type of race.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so exciting, but I love so much because in Italy I have all our fan, all person that work in the factory, sponsor, everybody come to see our team and what we do.
Yeah.
You've got a lot to smile about being here in Italy, but also Samuele's doing great on his TM as well, especially that race win in Indonesia.
Yeah, was so impressive for me in Indonesia because I remember that was like a dream, no? I said I must wake up myself because 20 years ago I was with Alex and everybody called Alex wild boar. And Alex all the time won in the mad situation, no? When stay muddy, and I say, hey, it's not possible. Everybody call Samuele wild boar now, and Samuele won the race. It is the first race in MX2 GP. On the mad.
And also first podium as well. So not only a big moment for him, but also a huge moment for you and the team.
Yeah, for the team, for the factory, because finally, after 20 years, we won another time the race, but we go another time on the podium.
Yeah.
Well, just looking at the conditions here, it was very difficult. But he made it look so easy. One or two small mistakes. But in general, he was just on a different level that day in that race.
Yeah, if you remember also 2 years ago in Majora, when rains were so much, Samuele likes so much mad situation and also sandy. He's not like Italian rider normally because Italian rider like a hard pack, but Samuele likes so much sand and mud situation.
Well, it only took 20 years since the last win, Alex Pousar, of course.
Yeah.
But I guess we already mentioned it. It was a really, really big deal for you, wasn't it? With Samuele winning that race. It was a long time coming, but worth it.
Yeah. So much time passed, and he's since 2013 that Samuele worked with us, and then I absolutely sure that it's possible go another time on the podium with Samuele, also with this new project about the bike.
Well, obviously TM are working very hard to be competitive, and things are improving all the time. Tell us about the bike, because it's coming from Moto3, isn't it?
Yeah, this project arrived from Moto3 is a very important project, but 2 years ago we understand that it's possible move some solution on the motocross. And then after the good result that had Samuele last year, the factory and Mr. Serafini decided to push very hard on this project, and then we changed some important stuff like the gearbox. Now is a little bit better, and then we put on that bike now all solution that we have the last step from the Moto3. The head is completely the last step, the body throttle injection, everything is the last step from Moto3, and the result arrived.
Yeah.
You mentioned the good result of Samuele last year, so we shouldn't really be surprised at his performances this year so far, because he finished 4th overall 3 times last year, didn't he?
Yeah, last year we had a very good season, because it's the first completely season for Samuele in the World Championship without injured. But, okay, the result was very good, 3 times 4, but don't have a very good condition for finish the race in the same level, same speed. This winter we work very hard, we change the personal trainer, we change some things about our preparation, our winter, and then I think the way is the correct way for stay very well on the championship, for all race, all season, and also for 35 minutes right now.
Yeah.
Well, he's 10th in the championship at the moment. What is the plan this year? Is top 5 possible, you think?
For sure, for me, it's top 5.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, okay, not lucky race, especially Mexico, because in Argentina was Samuele. Maybe after the win race, don't have a very good focus. Okay, in Argentina was like this, but in Mexico, not lucky race because the Med stopped the gear in the first moto. We broken the front brake in the second moto. But we are 10, only 4 points between our position and the 7th position, and 20 points for staying in the top 5. But our goal since last year is stay in top 5 sure this year. We work for that.
Yeah. All right, Marco Ricciardi, thank you for joining us here. We are out of time, but all the best with you and TM and, of course, Samuele. He was 4th overall last year. I'm wondering whether he can be the first Italian to win this since, was it 1981, I think, when the first time we came here?
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see that. But anyway, we are out of time. But join us live for the qualifying races here. They start at 4:25 Central European time. That's for the MX2 qualifying race, and 5 for MXGP qualifying race. As I said, we are out of time. Lisa, thanks as always. Marco, Jeffrey Hurlings as well, and of course Brent Van Donnick. We'll see those guys out on track. We are out of time. See you guys next week in Valkenswaard. Enjoy the weekend.